Hi everyone, welcome to Chapter 3, Requests and Application Emails. Today, we will learn how to write clear, polite and effective emails for university and beyond. Let's start with part 1, Request Emails. Simply put, a request email is written whenever you need to ask someone for something. The primary goal here is clarity and politeness. Throughout your university life and future career, you will write this constantly. You'll send them when you need information, want to set up an appointment, need an assignment extension, or require a specific document or official form. Because you are asking for someone's time or assistance, the way you frame this message is very important. To keep your request emails clear and easy to read, you may follow the standard 6-part structure shown here. The first one, you must have a clear subject line, a formal salutation, you must have opening and purpose, you must have reason, you must have your explicit call to action or request, and applied closing. So another easy way to remember the core content of your body paragraph is 3P rule. Okay, so what is 3P rule? So there are 3 important components of 3P rule. The first one is P1. P1 or purpose. So right away state why you are writing. Alright, so for example, I'm writing to request an extension. So the second P will be P2, which is to provide details or reason. You must give necessary context so that the recipient understands your situation. For example, my assignment is due on Friday, but I have been unwell. Alright, the last P will be P3 or polite request. You must state clearly what you want them to do next. For example, would it be possible for me to submit it on Monday? Let's look at Sarah's email to Dr. Sufyan. Notice how every element maps to our structure. So the first one, subject, which is a specific and concise request for assignment extension. How about the salutation? It's very professional. Dear Dr. Sufyan, very direct. Alright? Okay, how about the purpose and reason? So Sarah introduces herself, states her purpose, and gives a valid reason, which is she's unwell. Alright, so how about request? She uses polite phrasing. Therefore, I kindly request your permission to submit the assignment on Monday. Okay, how about the closing? She apologized for the inconvenience, thanks the professor, and sign off professionally. Now, let me clarify the difference between language and tone. Language is what you say. So the words, grammar, vocabulary. Tone is different. Tone is how it sounds to the reader. So in a request email, your tone must be polite, respectful, clear, and professional without sounding demanding. So take a look at this quick contrast. Instead of saying, send me the form, which is too direct, you could say, could you please send me the form? Instead of give me more information, you could replace with, could you please provide more information? And the last one, instead of writing, I need the document today, which is, I would say, sounds a bit rude, you could write, I would appreciate it if you could send me the document today. Here are some phrase patterns you can use when you want to write request emails. The first one is the use of modal verbs. So always use softer modals like could you, would you be able to, or may I. If you want to express wants, you may use I would like to request instead of I want, which is too direct, all right? So if you want to show appreciation, you may use I would appreciate it if you could. All right, so you may also use please. Please add it to a modal verb, makes, request sound respectful rather than bossy. Okay, now I'm going to show you 3 samples of request emails. The first one is on requesting an appointment. The second one requesting information, and last one requesting permission. Alright, so in sample 1, Aina requests an appointment to discuss her assignment topic. So notice how she gives a brief context before asking to meet. So in sample 2, you can see where Hannah asks about a student exchange program. So rather than demanding details, she writes, could you please provide details about the application requirements, deadline, and fees? It's short, sweet, and effective. Alright. Last sample. Okay, if you look at sample 3, Muhammad Danish requests permission to miss a class to attend a career fair. So notice how she justifies his request. He explains why the career fair benefits his studies and crucially promises to catch up on missed notes from classmates. So proactive accountability makes a professor much more likely to approve a request. Now let's move to part 2, application emails. An application email is written to express interest in a specific position or opportunity. Your purpose here is to introduce yourself, state what you are applying for, and highlight why you are a great fit. You use this for university clubs, leadership programs, student ambassador roles, scholarships, or internships. The structure of an application email contains 7 key parts, including an explicit mention of any attachment. Okay, so to write a good body paragraph, you may follow this 4I rule. Okay, so to write a good body paragraph, you may follow this 4I rule. Okay, so what is 4I rule? The first one is you must introduce yourself. Alright, you must state who you are. For example, I am a first year diploma student. Alright, so the second one is you must indicate your purpose of writing this email, where you must state the opportunity that you want. For example, I'm writing to apply for the student ambassador program. Alright, so moving to I3. I3 is for you to indicate your interest. Alright, you must show why you care. Okay, so for example, I would be happy to contribute. Alright, and the last one is I4, or identify your strengths or skills. Okay, you must briefly prove why you are suitable. For example, you may write, I have strong communication and teamwork skills. When writing application emails, the key tone rule is be confident. So you must avoid casual phrasing like, hey, I want to apply for the internship. Alright, so don't use hey. Okay, alright, and then you need to avoid weak phrasing like, I think maybe I can do this job. Alright, and also avoid arrogant phrasing like, I'm definitely the best person for this position. Okay, instead you could use, I am confident that my skills make me a suitable candidate. Or you could write, I am confident I can contribute positively. Okay, now we are looking at the first sample of application email. So it is about club. Alright. Okay, so the tips here, if you are a first year university student, it is completely acceptable for you to mention your high school achievements or club roles as evidence of your skills. Alright, so the second sample is on leadership. Okay, so the tips here is you are recommended to use strong action phrases. For example, active member, organizational skills, and willing to learn. Okay, for the third sample, which is on scholarship. Alright, so you must mention attachment. Alright, so always mention your attachments explicitly in the body text using this simple formula. Okay, for example, I have attached my resume for your consideration, or the formula is I have attached, and then you include the document name and also the purpose of why you are sending one. Usually for application email, you must have attachments as your supporting documents. Before we finish, let me warn you against 4 common email mistakes. Alright, so the first one is never use texting language when you write your email. Like for example, the use of LOL, emojis, the short abbreviations. You are not allowed to do so. The second one is avoid being direct or too demanding. Like for example, avoid forcing deadlines on your recipient. Okay, and the third one is not to be an oversharer. Alright, so keep details relevant. Your reader doesn't need to know about your pets or favorite foods. Alright, so the last one is avoid being, avoid exaggeration. So don't claim to be the best student ever. Focus on 2-3 specific relevant skills. To recap, both email types are formal requests. A request email asks for help or action and is concise. So there are 3 important components that you must have in your request email. The first one would be purpose, the second one would be reason, and the last one would be request. Okay, remember 3P rule. Alright. Okay, so for application emails, it applies for an opportunity and focuses on highlighting our fee. Again, the same thing, there are 3 important components that you must have in application email as well, which is the first one would be purpose, the second one would be interest, and the last one would be skills. So before I end the session, remember to complete your practice and also quiz for this chapter. Alright, so thank you for listening and happy writing.